Someone asks, "So what are you doing for your birthday?" And you give the answer that somehow confuses everyone. Nothing. It's just another day. Suddenly, you're the strange one. Friends think you're being negative. Family assumes something must be wrong. Society acts like if you don't blow out candles or post a smiling photo online, something inside you must be broken. But what if nothing is wrong with you? What if psychology says this behavior actually reveals something deeper? Researchers have studied this, and people who stop celebrating their birthdays usually fall into three very different groups. The first group stopped celebrating because life quietly trained them not to expect much. In 1967, psychologist Martin Seligman discovered something called learned helplessness. When someone experiences repeated disappointment without control over the outcome, their brain eventually stops expecting the reward. Not because they are weak, because the brain learns efficiency. And birthdays are basically expectation machines. You predict something special will happen: attention, celebration, recognition. But if that prediction fails again and again, your brain slowly adjusts. Eventually, it stops hoping. So when someone calmly says, "It's just another day," that sentence might not come from apathy. It might come from emotional armor. But not everyone who skips their birthday carries scars. The second group simply forgets. Psychologists call this time blindness. When your brain is overloaded with work, responsibilities, and constant demands, days blur together, weeks blur. Your birthday gets filed under not urgent. These people aren't avoiding celebration. Their attention is simply elsewhere. But the third group is the most interesting. These are people who didn't forget, and they aren't hurt. They simply realized they don't actually need the celebration. Psychologists Edward Deci and Richard Ryan studied something called self-determination theory, and their research found something surprising. The most psychologically healthy people often rely less on external validation. They don't need social rituals to confirm their value. They don't wait for one day a year to feel important. They feel whole on ordinary days. And that can make other people uncomfortable because it challenges a common belief that happiness must come from events, attention, or celebration. But here's the twist. Not everyone who rejects celebrations is doing it from freedom. Sometimes it's protection. Psychologist Jennifer Crocker discovered that some people detach from celebrations because they fear disappointment. If they expect nothing, they cannot be hurt. So if you rarely celebrate your birthday, ask yourself something honestly. Is it freedom or is it protection? Only you know the answer. But either way, not celebrating your birthday doesn't automatically mean something is wrong with you. It might simply mean you see meaning differently. Because real self-worth isn't something that requires a date on a calendar. Sometimes the strongest kind of confidence is the kind that exists quietly, even on an ordinary day.